Welcome to another episode of Those Were the Neighs. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, are the best people on the planet, Anonymous Alex and Jenna. How are y'all this week?
Yeah.
And also, we have one of the coolest people I've ever met, our friend from Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, Steven Adams. How are you?
Hello, horse fam. So good to be here. Thank you for having me.
I kept trying to do a name with Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, and I just kept landing on Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
Yeah, well,
because you can't change horse into horse.
It's already done.
And so I was like, that's got to be like some kind of IP problem or something. So
like
destiny.
You just didn't want to steal the IP right in front of the person whose IP you were stealing?
Yeah, I do that a lot too. I don't know why this time it was, hey, Steven, how are you? What's going on?
I'm good. I've been doing great. I've been looking forward to this for months since we talked to DragonCon. I'm so pumped to be here with you all. Yeah, it was great. I'm looking forward to it.
So long.
Yeah.
Since DragonCon. Like, I didn't even think about that till right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a lot. I need to stay in this creative zone, and you're dragging me back in. Because when you leave DragonCon, you're like, I'm going to make everything. And then after a few months, you're like, what was I doing? Do I have the energy for that? Like, am I even going to go again? That was a lot. And then, it's just a cyclical event for me.
You say a few months. I literally forgot what sentence I was saying while I was saying it a few minutes ago.
You did.
It did not last months for me. It lasted moments. So we watched a movie this time that Steven brought to us called Into the West.
Yeah.
And I was completely unfamiliar with this movie. And I really liked this movie. It was a good movie. But before we get started talking about it, because this is what I always do, I always start talking about it too soon, we're going to let Steven tell us what happened in Into the West.
Oh, yeah. You want, is it a brief rundown or is it a long rundown? How we want to do this? Because we can go.
No, I don't need anything brief in my life.
Good. Okay.
I want very detailed explanations of what happened in the movie.
I got lots of notes. This whole book is full of notes. That's not true. It's like 3 pages. But no, I'm excited to talk about this movie because you all came up to me while we were at DragonCon and you're like, you should be on the show. We talk about horse movies, and instantly Into the West popped into my head, and you said, "Oh, that sounds great. Have you seen it?" No, I haven't seen it. But it was the preview of a movie I watched like 82 times as a kid. Is when you have those movies that you always put in the VHS and you've got the previews and you just eventually know them as well as the movie you're about to watch. I don't know what movie this was in front of. I just always remember it had Irish kids and a horse. And I was like, it had Gabriel Byrne in it because it was starring Gabriel Byrne. I'm like, and you looked it up on IMDb and found it and were like, Into the West. That's it. That's the movie with the horse in it. So I don't have an emotional attachment to this movie. But real quick, before we get started, I'm curious if any of you had seen it before. I think, Alex, you said that you were familiar with this movie.
Oh, yeah. I had seen this movie before a few times.
Okay.
This has never happened before.
Yeah, I wrecked that VHS when I was a kid.
Really?
Oh,
so
you've
you
seen
had
it
seen
too?
it a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So it was just me. I thought nobody
yeah.
had seen it except for Alex.
Nope,
okay.
Nope. It was a quintessential horse kid movie, I feel.
Yeah. For sure. So that means me and Tim are brand new to this, but you all got to go down a memory lane a little bit if you decide to watch it again. Because, if you just remember it, you remember it. But anyway, we can talk a little bit about what Into the West is. You might think to yourself, oh, they go into the American West. You'd be so wrong. This isn't about the American West. This is about the Irish West. Which, funny enough, it's a small island, relatively, to what we have over here. But it still has a West, and a wild one at that. When a place is so small, you eventually, that's all just, they don't refer to directions. They just walk over there.
Yeah, that's what, they just walked.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, let's go over here.
Let's go over there. They don't really, but no, they too have regions, and direction. So that's where we're at. That's our scene, is Ireland with a family of travelers. And I looked this up because I was curious, because I was careful. I didn't want to assume they were gypsies, right? There's two different societies in Ireland, and gypsy's a Romani descendant, and that's probably the preferred name. I think nowadays you wouldn't typically say gypsy. And the travelers are a whole different subset of nomadic people with their own little nomadic culture as they go around. And that plays into this movie a lot. And at one point I was like, okay, the horse is for children. The travelers is the drama for the adults. They're trying to pull double duty here. They got to give the parents something to watch. But we start off at the 90s is all about credits forever. That's the first thing that stood out to me in this movie, is that the horses run along the beach, and it's written by, key grip, is Todd Davis, and you're just looking at credits, rolling as this horse is playing on the beach, and this old man's gathering water, and then as that progresses, I kind of thought this was a period piece. I really did. At that moment, I thought, oh, this is like 1830 or something. And until the airplane showed up, he's riding his wagon. Because travelers, they got the old ways. He's just going in this white magical horse. We don't know if it's magical yet. We don't know if it's magical at all. But I'm going to assume it is, because all horses are magic, as we know here on Horse Girls. But this one's just a little extra. So he's going to a city to visit. I guess it's his son. Is Papa's his son or his son-in-law? Was that clear to any of y'all?
I took it as son-in-law.
Son-in-law is what I thought.
Son-in-law.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if they ever actually said,
Yeah,
but that's
they did.
just the way I read it.
It was the old man's daughter was his wife.
Okay.
Okay.
So I thought the implication was, but I wasn't sure they specified enough to me.
Because he said your daughter several times.
Okay. It was very Irish. Maybe that's why I missed it. I was very focused. I'm like, what are they saying? Because I was watching it on my iPad in the car at carpool, trying to pick my kid up. So I was in the prime space for watching this movie. But that's why my notes are on paper, because this is all I had with me. Okay. So we get to our modern area. We got the airplane. We're in the towers. This is where we come across the dad and the children for the first time. The two boys, Ozzy and what's the other kid's name? Ozzy and
Tito.
My notes are ineffective.
Tito. That's what it was. Tito.
And I kept thinking his name was Tato, and I thought that was wildly appropriate because it was an Irish kid, and I was like, oh, Tato, that's a good nickname for a young Irish boy. But no, it's Tito, or Tato. Tito is his name. Now I'm never going to get it right. Ozzy and Tito and Papa. Papa's not his real name, but everybody called him that, so we're just going to go with it. I didn't see a different name in the credits. It was just Papa Riley. And Papa's Gabriel Byrne. And the two kids, Ozzy's played by Kieran Fitzgerald, which is spelled in the most Irish way you can imagine, because he's actually Irish. And then I had to go look up how to pronounce this, because it's Ruaidhri, with lots of tildes everywhere. That's pronounced Rory. Somehow. you leave out most of the consonants when you're in an Irish name. Plays Tito. Two brilliant young boys doing these roles. They were fantastic. They're going to scam basically the government to see if they can get some more money. This is pretty great. This whole scene cracked me up because Dad sends the kids with about 15 other children to this little family, and this couple's going like, hey, we need some money from the government. And the guy's checking them out. He's like, how many children do you have? The guy's like, I don't know. a lot. I don't normally count them. The guy's like, what? So he said, children, come over here. It counts all the kids. They're all other people's kids. They're just getting the maximum amount. And the guy's like, how many boys, how many girls? Well, I don't count them that way. That got me real good. Raise your hand if you're a boy. Raise your hand if you're a girl. It was great. And like the one kid's getting prepped, like little Ozzy, he really wants to tell the truth. He's an honest kid. And his dad's like, no, your name's Murphy. He said Morphy because he's Irish. And I wrote that down, and I was like, hey, it's probably Murphy because it's the most common Irish name. And it actually is. I looked it up. Murphy is the most common Irish name in Ireland. So it totally was going to fly. Anyway, the kid's like, my name's Murphy. It's like, no, boy, what's your Christian name? He's looking around like, oh, no, we didn't talk about what name I'm supposed to, like my first name. And that got me good because he's like, Mister? They all laugh. Oh, true. So the agent, who I recognized somehow, like I recognize his face. He's a famous actor of some kind, but I didn't bother to look it up. Your listeners, they're hard workers. They can find out if they want to.
I did that like 7 times in this movie. I was like, is that? Yeah, it just kept coming up.
And a lot of times it was the guy that you were thinking of, which is really great. So we kind of learn along the way the dad's a scammer. He's his wife has died. He's now a drunk. He's living in the big tower, which I guess is some kind of almost like a projects, like a government housing kind of space is what I was picking up on. They never outright said that, but his father-in-law is very upset with him doing that. Anyway, the kids get to see the horse for the first time, the white horse. There's some sort of horse whisperer vibe that I guess the dad used to have. Like Papa used to be the horse whisperer, but he can't do it anymore because he's drunk and his wife is gone and he's left the old ways. But the kid, Ozzy, the little guy, he just holds his hands up and the horse calms down and like listens to him. You can call to the horse. That's where the magic comes in. It's super great. The kids gets right into it. Grandpa wants Dad to quit this life and come back to the old ways. And Dad says, the old ways is dead. Like, oh man, he's really in the pits. We got to bring this guy out. But anyway, whole lot of stuff happens. Kid jumps over a fire with the horse. If you guys want to highlight anything in particular that catches your mind, please feel free to interrupt me as I regale us in this tale.
The only thing that I would interrupt you is to let you know that as of right... Is that a Spindrift you're drinking?
Yeah, it's delicious.
So the you have just created a nickname for yourself. You will forever be Tato whenever I see you. That is what's going to happen. And I'm just going to warn you now. I'm going to walk up and be like, hey, Tato, the old ways is dead. Is exactly the greeting that you're going to get every time now.
That will make me so happy. I'm totally okay with it. Tato. You got to say it like an old Irish man, too. Oi, Tato. The old ways is dead. This be like our greeting. It's kind of like, the force be with you, and also with you. Hey, Tato, the old ways is dead. It's our code. So we got the kid on the white horse. He's running around doing stuff. Dad's telling the story. Grandpa's telling the story of Tir na Nog by the fire. And all I could think was like, this guy is an old guy, and he can tell this whole story from memory. I can't even remember a joke. Like, I can't retell a long-winded joke, and Grandpa's over there like, oh, long ago, back in the olden days, this horse and all this stuff. Like, turn to ash. It plays out later. I don't remember it all. Don't worry about it. It's not important right now. The kids, they don't have anywhere to keep a horse, so they take the horse into the apartment building, up the elevator, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, man, this is the best horse. I've tried to put horses on a trailer before, and they're just like, no. And they got a horse in an elevator. Horse goes in the apartment, hanging out. At one point, they put the horse in a big old shower and they give it a bath. They know what they're doing. It's kind of amazing. So the kids, what is this? This was a cool thing. Was this before or after when they they go out begging because the kids beg for money during the day. It's one of their things, and they want you to know that Ozzy has like a breathing issue, but he hasn't had a breathing issue since the horse came home. So he's like the opposite of allergic to horses. He's not alert. He gets less alert. He's allergic to the world, and the horse is the cure. So he goes out to beg for money, and he's standing there panhandling. His brother's like, "What are you?" Yeah, see, Jenna knows what's up. The world is the problem. So he's out on the street, and he's begging for money, and people are walking by, and he's like, his big brother's like, "Ozzy, sing the song," and he's singing. He's like, nothing's happening. His brother said, "You're not sick anymore. You need to have a breathing problem." So he starts going, he's like, I can't fake it. But people start giving him money. Apparently, you can be cute and sing, but you also have to be like sick. There has to be evidence that you are sick before people will give. And that's all fine. And I learned something. The Irish, the Tinkers. I wrote it down. I wish I remembered the scene. But it said they made things out of tin, and that's why they were called tinkers. Did you guys catch that?
No, I sure didn't.
Yeah, the travelers, they were like banging on a bucket or something, like one of the Tito.
Oh, I do remember the banging on the bucket.
Yeah, he was saying they make things out of tin. That's why they call us tinkers. I'm like, hey, did not know that. Learned a thing or two. Good educational film we got here. You could show it to second graders. So they give the horse a bath, and this is when the cops, or the apartment building owners or whatever, come by, and they use this wonderful phrase, "We have reason to believe you're harboring a pony." And that just tickled me for some reason. But Dad, we haven't seen Dad much. This is all the kids. Dad's just drunk somewhere. I really don't know. But he's not letting them bother his kids and that horse. Dad shows up, and he's like gangster guy. He's got his coat on. He's like knocking people's heads, hanging them over the edge of a balcony. He's like, "You get away from my children." And they're like, there's a lot of weird kind of almost racist tones, because it's like, you travelers, you're all the same kind of stuff, which is that's not cool, man. Even in 1992, what are you doing? So they have all this chaos about the horse. They come in the next time with medical staff, and I don't know what's wrong with people, but they come in all loud with ropes and junk, and the guy's got a big old needle, and they're yelling at the horse. Just calmly go up to the horse and dope it up. If you got, what is this? We're yelling and screaming, and the horse is kicking and puts holes in the wall and everything. They've never done this, but they don't know what they're doing with horses. They've never seen them before. They ended up finally getting the horse out of the building. There's, I guess, for make the movie a little longer, the horse runs around in a circle for a minute because the cops are there, and then the kid's finally you got to get on the trailer. So the horse gets taken off by the cops. The horse gets arrested, you might say, for being a horse in the wrong place at the wrong time. You're going to prison, Mr. Horse.
Profiling.
Horse profiling. I was very offended. I was like, oh yeah, this movie's dated. Try that. Don't come after me now. We're in trouble. So anyway, horse tries to get out. Cops took the horse. Dad went to pay for the horse. Dad's like, I like my kids having a horse. My kid can't breathe. He needs a horse. It's 55 pounds. Not the horse's weight, the money, currency, to get the horse out of there. And this scumbag cop's like, we sold the horse. He's like, you can't just sell the horse. He's like, we sold the horse. The horse is gone. This sucks. And this is the only movie I've ever actually hated Brendan Gleeson in, who plays one of the cops. They're not called cops. They're called gardiers or something. I don't think it's gardier because that sounds French. The
fuzz.
Yeah, that's it. That's what they're called. Yeah, the fuzz. The fuzz. All right. Yeah. They're coming.
I think Cartier is shampoo.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, they're sham cops, so I guess that makes sense. Maybe we're onto something. The cops have sold the horse to some wealthy guy. There are moments in this movie where the plot just kind of starts and then it stops eventually. Like, the kid never has trouble breathing again. Like, that was only important in the first 15 minutes of the movie. You said you wanted this to be a long retelling of the story. Okay,
This is fantastic.
All right, as long as you're enjoying yourself, I'll continue.
Oh, yes.
I'll continue.
Yep.
All right. All right, let's see. So the boys, this is really a downward. They're going on a downward spiral. They've lost their horse. They're upset. Now the school's coming by going like, "Oi, Daddy, your children haven't been in there for months at the schoolhouse." And he's like, "What? This is terrible." So he tells them, "Hey, the kids are going to go to school." Dad starts to get a little more involved, I guess. The kids are kind of doing their thing. They're back in school. They're watching TV through the holes in the wall that the horse put in there. Because Dad took the TV because they weren't going to school. And, I mean, they had like 2 things. So the TV is the only thing he could ground them with. There weren't any video games around. So I'm taking the TV, which is where they watched all their Westerns. That kind of came into play. They watched Clint Eastwood movies and stuff. I think they only ever watched Western movies. It's the only thing they showed. And then later on, another semi-Western movie shows up. So they're just big into it. They end up doing that. Then the dad kind of becomes a dad for a minute. And he like teaches him to read. And the kid definitely still can't read. But Dad's like, close enough. I'm going to go get the TV back out. Because, look, I'm a dad. And at some point, you're like, these rules are starting to hurt me. And we're going to just go ahead and let it slide. It's not that big of a deal. We'll learn to read later. There's always time, but the game is on. So here we go. I don't watch any games. I'm not a sports guy, but something is probably on that I want to see. So the kids are out and about in town doing their thing, and they go in a video store. And there's a TV on with the horse jumping competition on TV, and they see the horse doing the thing. They're like, "Oh, snap! That's our horse!" And conveniently enough, that horse jumping competition's live, and also like 30 feet down the road because the kids get there almost instantly. It's basically magic. They're teleported to the place. they steal the horse on live television, and Dad's getting interrogated because the horse. They were like, "Do you see what happened?" And Dad's sees the horse running away. He's like, "Those are my kids." And they're like, "Yeah, they're your kids." He's like, "I don't know what's going on." But Brendan Gleeson's giving him the old good cop, bad cop. And this is where we get our first glimpse that maybe Chief of Police Cop is like, Brendan Gleeson's a sucky cop. I'm going to make him stop being a butthole to this guy and let him go. But before that, they make Dad sign away his rights to the horse. You know, like, you're going to sell your horse to this rich guy that's got him, and that way we can prove that it's horse theft. It's not you taking the horse back, but it's cops working with a wealthy guy. It's a whole big thing. But Papa's like, "I can't read or write," and they're like, "Just make your mark," you know. And he makes like an L or something. It was an L early on, and then later it's an X. I caught that. That was a goof up, continuity error. Take care of what are these people doing? It's like they're not even trying. So the kids end up getting away on this horse, and they load it up in a train. And I'm like, all right, this is how we get out to the West. We're gonna ride this train forever. And Ozzy keeps asking about his mom. So one of the things that we learn is that Ozzy never got to meet Mom. Ozzy doesn't know anything about her, so he asks his brother all the time, "What was Mom like?" And he's like, "She looked like you. What did she look? She had your eyes. Stop asking." It's the best, like, brother and brother conversation. Little brother wants info. Older brother does not have time for this. Like, I'm currently trying to keep us alive, and I'm only 8 years old. Like, I need you to just relax for a second. Stop asking questions. We're on a train heading God knows where with a horse, and we're on the run. This is not good. But they're the sons of a traveler. They know the tips. They know what to do. They don't know what to do. They think they know what to do. It's fine. Papa's like, "Gotta find my kids." They argue about superstition for a while. Papa and Grandpa, they get in a big old heated battle about like, what are you doing? You gotta grieve. You never grieved. You gotta let your wife go. we get glimpses of this adult situation. We don't care because there's no horse. So we're just like, what are we even talking about? I don't know what's going on. This dad journey's kind of boring. But let's go back to the kids with the horse. They're cute. Horse is great. Gabriel Byrne's cute too, but I mean, that's I'm not. I don't need it. It's fine. But they, Papa puts ash on his face. I guess that was some sort of like a mourning, like a grieving thing.
I didn't understand that at all. I was like, I am not familiar with whatever this is trying to get me to understand.
I think it's maybe like a traveler thing to show mourning and grief. That's what I overanalyzed it to be. Maybe that's they cover their face in ash when a loved one dies. Maybe, I don't know. Hey, look, if you're a traveler, you tell us. If you're in your wagon listening to this show, you just email us. Look, all I know about travelers is what I learned from this movie. So I've only got what I've got. Give me some grace, okay? That's all I'm saying. So Papa puts the ash on his face. The train got away. Oh yeah. Tito leaves the train for a minute to go find out where the devil they are because they've been riding all night. And they're still in Dublin. Like, they didn't go anywhere. I think they started in Dublin, so I'm going to assume that was... They're like, oh, no, we're still in Dublin. Maybe they made it further. It wasn't really clear to me where I don't know where trains are. I feel like you need to know Irish geography to know how...
I think they went at least some of the way west. That's what I got.
They didn't go into it all the way. They just kind of went towards it.
Towards the west.
We're toward the west right now. We're not into it.
Pretty cool movie. Towards the west.
Towards the west. Not really there, but we're getting there. They got to go over the mountains to be in it. I know that's the case. And that train got away, and I was panicked, y'all. I was like, you left Ozzy and the horse in the dang train. You're like, I promise I'll be back. There's your little brother's just gonna get away. And he was brokenhearted there for a second, Tito. But then thankfully, Ozzy got off the train with the horse before it left. He's like, you just left us. What's wrong with you? He's like, oh, Ozzy, I'm so glad I found you, or whatever. And they get on the horse, and they go traveling a little bit more. Papa goes to the travelers to get some help. He goes back to his clan. They are like, no, you cannot come party with us. You left, and you lived in a house, and that is against the rules. So get out. By the way, man, Gabriel Byrne's wardrobe in this movie, I want to be that cool.
Okay, did you see the boots?
Yeah.
Right? That's the same thing I said. I was like, oh, those are Chapman boots, and I need them so bad.
Yeah.
Those are awesome.
And that shirt, buttoned all the way to the neck with, the red.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. And that coat, dude was just crushing it. He was crushing it. I just want hair. His hair was glorious, and I want some, and I don't have any, and that's okay. I wasn't jealous for long. Actually, I was jealous the whole time. Who am I kidding? But it's okay. So the kids end up going to some field somewhere. I don't know. They go from city to field pretty fast, and they have to kind of rely on their wits to survive now because they haven't eaten anything for a while. I don't know if they left with anything. They just kind of stole their horse and rode off. They had a lot of blankets and coats, which is important. But they have to find a way to get some food. So they go looking for some food, and they end up finding beans. I didn't write anything down about any of the scenes between. Did they steal the beans? Does anybody remember?
No, I think he bought the beans, and wasn't that when he almost stole the newspaper?
Yeah, he was trying to steal the newspaper.
Yeah, and it
yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then they ran off. There's a little chase or something, maybe not. I don't remember.
Yeah, because he was hiding the newspaper. The guy's like, "Why are you trying to hide it?" And then the guy opened the newspaper and realized they're searching for this kid.
Oh, that's right.
Cops.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know how much time has passed. It's been one night, but the newspapers all over Ireland already know about this. It was live TV, though, I guess. I don't know how news worked before internet.
There's no way to know.
No,
we're also sending cars through the streets, just announcing over the loudspeaker, "Kids in town."
Yeah, there are children. If you see one, let somebody. If you see something, say something. So these kids, These kids, they're eating berries and junk, and then they got their beans, and there's a whole scene where they put the beans on the fire, and then the cans exploded. That was great. That's exactly what happened to me, not gonna lie. Well, no, I'd be dead, because I'd be like, I don't know where to get food, and I would just freeze to death, because I'm a 21st century kid.
It would be the bean shrapnel that would have taken you out.
Yeah, exactly. That's not safe. That shrapnel went somewhere.
Bean Claymore.
So we find out what happened. The wife died. We go back. This is back in the Travelers world where Ellen Barkin, I think, is the Catherine is his wife's sister. I believe there was a relationship there that Papa had with this woman. Anyway, she lets him come into the party or into the caravan and kind of get his bearings and try to help him find his kids. And he ends up kind of embracing it a little more. It's kind of his way of coming back to his roots. The next morning he's up, or that night he's dancing, like he actually dances. You could call it dancing. It was a really interesting, like, it's kind of like, you guys, have you ever been to the ska circles back in the day? You remember Skank? You remember how you did Skank? It's like a skank, but like...
That was exactly it.
It's like
exactly it.
Weird bow-legged skank. That's the way that dance works.
Weird bow-legged skank is my new Twitter handle. That's
all I could think of when I was watching that. Like, you know what? If they can do that and call it dancing, then I can dance really well. Because that's all I could ever do. It was absolutely great. So we got that happening going on. The cops are there, looking for the kids. The men finally ride off on their horses. Well, no, they take Kathleen because she's like the best tracker ever. All the dudes are like, I don't know where they go, and she's looking at the ground like, they slept here. They've been gone 6 hours. She's like one of those that like put her fingers in the bear poop and be like, it was been here recently. You know, she's that level of tracker. She's got the skills, so she's gonna find these kids. The kids are running through from all kinds of stuff. There's like a fox hunt going on, and the kids think they're after them, but it's just a fox hunt, which is wild. Never seen a fox hunt. They got the red coats on and everything, the dogs. And they get away. I don't know what happened to the fox. We didn't learn that. I'm going to assume it didn't end well for him. He didn't make it into the West. That fox, those were a lot of dogs going after that guy. It was a lot. So the kids are starting to wear down. They're riding the horse together. They're on this path. And at some point, Tato like tries to get off the horse and he falls to the ground. And he's just like, my legs. And at first I thought, oh, man, I've ridden a horse for a while before. And I understand that feeling. Like when you get off and you're like, oh, no, my legs, they're broken. But he was giving his brother crap, acting like he was turning to ash or whatever. Like, you jerk. And his brother's yelling, Mommy. And this is a very dramatic moment because he's like, I was yelling, Mommy, so Daddy would come. And I'm just like, this is terrible. This is so sad. It's Catherine, not Kathleen. I've been saying Kathleen. It's Catherine is her name. Fall off the horse. They end up going into some town. Like, I love these little towns because they're very Western towns. There's not much going on there. There's like a movie theater, a crappy one too. I forgot what '90s movie theaters were like. And they were, somebody sits in front of you with a big hat, and you're out of luck. You're not watching that movie anymore, buddy. You just better give up. Anyway, they wait till the movie theater's down. Tito sends Ozzy in because Ozzy's like his little guy, like he can get away with anything. So, hey, little guy, go in there and steal some stuff. And Ozzy's like, give me money for popcorn. I'm starving. I'm like, yes, you get paid. You know what you're doing. Ozzy goes in the theater, hangs out, eats popcorn, watches Back to the Future 3. It's great. Which I learned they couldn't use any scenes with Michael J. Fox in it because they would owe them more money. So there's also a moment where Michael J. Fox yells, Indians, in the movie. They dubbed that with someone else's voice so that they wouldn't have to pay.
Really?
Yeah.
Who was it? It wasn't Steve McQueen, but it was somebody like Steve McQueen. It may have been Clint Eastwood, but I don't think it was actually on the IMDb page for an uncredited scene because they used... Oh, it was Paul Newman.
Oh, yeah.
It was Paul Newman, yeah. He's on the IMDb page for being in this movie because they used a frame of him or whatever.
Yeah, and they have to pay money for that. You can't just put somebody in your movie without paying some cash. So Hollywood works. It's rough. So they want to pay the Michael J. Fox money. So they're just like, nah, we'll just get somebody to yell Indians into a microphone and that'll be fine. So that's what they did to replicate that whole thing. So they go into the theater. They feed the horse popcorn and punch. Like, I don't know if you can feed a horse popcorn and punch. I don't think that's a good idea, but it's a magic horse. So maybe you can feed a magic horse popcorn and punch. But the theaters, I missed the point where the theater closed down for the night. So the boys have snuck in because they left Tito hid in the bathroom or something. And then, not Tito, Ozzy hid in the bathroom, let Tito and the horse in. So now they're hanging out in the place, causing a ruckus. They're eating popcorn. They're getting fruit punch. They're turning the movies on. They hit all the buttons. I love this. They hit like all the buttons because they didn't know how to make the theater work, like how to make the projector work and everything. They would never have pulled it. Back then, you had to have a projectionist. Like, you needed a PhD to run a movie. It was a big deal. But they hit the buttons, and the lights outside come on, and it's nighttime and raining, and the cops are looking for him. And then I was sitting there going, no, they're going to get caught. And then Tito's, like, turned some things off because they were trying to turn the lights off so they could see the movie. And he hits the thing, and the lights go off, and then a cop car comes riding by. I was like, oh, magic horse. Serendipity is making this happen. The kids slept in the theater. They oversleep. A lady catches the horse, because horse is like, hey, a lady's here. I'm going to go say hello. And he walks over there, like, hey, lady. And she flips out, like, loses her mind. Because, I mean, she probably loves horses, but I don't think she expected one to be in the lobby of her movie theater that morning. And that's a lot. Yeah, be careful. So the kids are like, oh, no, we overslept. So they run away. Everybody tries to, the cops show up in town and they try to get them, but they're riding their horse, getting out of there. Brendan Gleeson's like, finally got ye, me white whale, that kind of thing. The kids are cool, man. They like, we can get away from this. The horse can jump stuff. They go into somebody's house. Well, no, it's the cops walking down the alleyway like, I've got you now. And they're like, this little girl sees them out the window and lets them into her house, and they ride the horse through the house. And the cop's like, oh, no, we didn't expect you to be able to get away that way. And so they run over to the door and they're banging on it, let us in. And the kids are going through, and my goodness, if this wasn't the most kid action I've ever seen, but they see a family eating food, they're like, hey, can we please have some food? And people are like, sure. I mean, they gave them the bread. Here's some bread, you couple of ducks. Here you go, take this bread right off out the back door. So they get out of there. Save the day. What else did I write in here? This is kind of where we start to get towards the end. We're getting towards the end of this adventure. They're almost to the west. They go into the woods. That rich guy who owns the horse now, sort of kind of has a helicopter, and he shows up. But this is where Tiernanog, the horse's name, I don't know if I've even mentioned that. Tiernanog, he's like, oh, I'm not getting caught by that rich guy in a helicopter. Like, he knows what's going on. He's got some kind of Spider-Man level sense, because there's dogs after him, there's a helicopter, and the horse is running through the water and like doing circles and junk to confuse the dogs. It's absolutely incredible. I was like, that horse is so smart. Like, Tiernanog, Mr. Ed, like up there in the echelons of brilliant horses. Maybe Hidalgo, he's up there too. He hides behind a waterfall for a little bit, and the dogs kind of give up. But eventually they have to make their way to the west. But we stop by the mom's gravesite after they get away from all that. Mom's gravesite, this is where it all goes down, where Ozzy learns that despite he cannot read, he can read a date, which is fine. We'll just magic of the horse. So he reads the date on the tombstone of when his mom died. He's like, why is my birthday on the tombstone? Oh no, now we've learned mom died when when Ozzy was bored, and that's a shame. So that explains, a lot of why mom wasn't there. Mom was only 25. I wrote that down because I can do math, and I was like, dang, that's too young. I was a puddle for a little bit, real emotionally wrecked by that. the kids get away. They ride away. Dad shows up at the same grave, and it's more like, you got to let her go, Jimmy, or whatever they say. And he's like, you're right. Blah, 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 blah. And they go off to the beach. Then the horse gets to the beach where he originated from. I think this is the same beach he was running around on at the beginning. They get to the beach. These cops are chasing them all the way to the beach and catch human beings in nets. Like, is that what we do in Ireland? We chase people down with nets? Like fishing nets. I was appalled. I don't even know what's happening. They're riding. You've got this. I haven't seen this group of like trench-coated, horse-mounted cops with nets yet, but they showed up at the beach. They were like, we finally got them cornered. They'll never get away. They're as far into the west as they can go on dry land. So chasing them down. There's this whole thing. Dad's there. Grandpa's there. Everybody's there. The horse runs into the water because the horse is just like, F it, I'm going all the way into the west. And Ozzy's on his back, and they're going together, and Ozzy falls off, and the horse just disappears. The magic horse disintegrated in the water. We don't know. Ozzy goes into the water. Everybody gets out of their nets. Chief Cop shows up, and he's like, screw you guys. Leave these people alone. And Brendan Gleeson is like, but I've got him, and that ended poorly for him. He's getting fired. It's abusive. Maybe. He might be tenured. I don't know what you call it when police have like unfireability, but he probably has it. That's why he's such a jerk. So Ozzy, they get him out of the water. They find him because at first it's like, oh no, he's dead, because everyone looked so hard. Like they all sat on the beach and stared at the water like, oh no, where is he? But then Dad goes out, gets him, carries him back, lays him down, and does what might be the worst form of CPR I have ever seen performed anywhere. In fiction, in real, I don't know. He grabs him by the shoulders and like shakes him, and then he just blows into his mouth like 50 times. Like, it's 1992. I mean, you guys can track them in the dirt, and you can eat, you know what berries to eat, but if somebody can't breathe, they just die. Like, it's just over. Like, there's no saving them. Because you're just like, the old ways. And people are like, no, the old ways suck. Like, you could learn this. This is easy. Like,
I had the same thought. I was like, could you do one chest compression? Just one. Just one.
Because now they're like, don't even breathe in people. Just push their chest. It's fine. Yeah. This guy was doing the opposite of that. He's like, no, I just breathe at people. And, it was like, he's gone forever. We did have a really, poetic moment in the middle where Ozzy, I'm guessing he kind of sort of died because his mom's in the water and like helps lift him out of the water, which might have been the horse, but might have been her. It's very unclear. He definitely saw her. So he probably was dead, and Dad brought him back with the miserable CPR performance. They end up saving him. Dad finally realizes, look, I got to let my wife go. And in traveler tradition, I guess you burn the wagon that you lived in when someone passes away, which is, it's fine. You can do that. So they bring it down to the beach and they burn it. Everybody's happy. And you look through the carriage, and there is Tir na Nog in the flames. And Ozzy smiles, and everybody smiles. And I don't know if that horse was real. Magic. Could be. Who knows? But that thing burned down, and everybody lived happily ever after. After that, I'm going to assume that they went back to being travelers and dancing and watching TV or whatever it is that they do. It was great. And end scene, roll credits. Thank you for coming on this journey with me.
I did really like the movie. Yeah. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, right?
So I had no idea what this movie was about. It was called Into the West. So I was like, okay, we're watching a cowboy movie. That works for me.
Yeah.
And then the guy got on his wagon. I was like, cool, cowboy movie. And then he went in front of the plane, and I was like, what am I watching? What is happening? I am very confused, and it has been 4 seconds of this movie. I don't understand what's happening.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I having not seen it, just the preview of it, I didn't really know what I was expecting other than Irish, and I enjoyed it a lot. Like I thought it was great. I was like, I should have watched this with my kid. We'd have had a great time. He would have been like, "This movie's old. I don't want to watch old movies." But then he would have been fine. You know?
As soon as he saw the horse jump the fire, he'd be like, "All right, I'm
Yeah.
committed now."
I'm in. You watch a horse jump any movie and you're in. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. But you talk about a horse in the lobby of a movie theater. Do you know how many movies Alex... We would have completely different Alex if they had horses in lobbies of movie theaters.
It's true.
That's all she would have done.
She would have seen all of the media.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, if they were allowed to come in with us and like sit and watch, I could feed them popcorn and fruit punch or whatever. That'd be great.
Vets recommend Hawaiian Punch if you're gonna feed them. That's what you do.
Makes sense.
Man,
So
that's a
we
good
have-
business plan.
Yeah.
Horse movie theater. You just ride your horse in and watch a movie.
It's like a drive-in, kinda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, that'd be cool. You just hook your little speaker to your saddle. And you just sit there. And... we have determined that being a horse girl, and Ozzy was definitely a horse girl.
Oh, yeah.
It gives you psychic powers, and his showed up very early.
And
early.
very strong, too.
Yeah. But I do think you're right. I think it was all attached to the old ways. Ozzy was deep in the old ways.
Yeah, I mean when
At
they
the age of 4.
Yes, he was barely able to speak, and he was in the old ways. I mean, when they were in when they were stealing the horse on the TV, you heard him go, "Oi, turn the dog!" and the horse just like turned around, threw his rider off, and went straight to him.
So
Like,
good.
dang, yeah,
That was
good.
really that might have been my favorite part of the movie was Gabriel Byrne getting interrogated and then watching them do it, and you could just hear them scream on the TV like off camera. And the horse turns and goes, and I was like, "This is so good." And
Yeah.
the pride in Gabriel Byrne's face.
Yeah,
And no, I agree. That this is the worst Brendan Gleeson in all the variants of Brendan Gleeson. This is my least favorite. We need to put together a Brendan Gleeson timeline, though, like of how this character became the character from In Bruges, and then the I've forgotten the name of the other one that I just watched, Banshees of Inisherin.
Oh, Banshees of Inisherin. Oh, that's it's the same guy.
That's what I'm gonna posit is that there is only one Brendan Gleeson character.
Yeah,
And it's just a path to get all the way through.
yeah, that's a really good one.
I know you said the movie name twice, but can I tell you what I heard both times?
Sure.
The Banshees of Ed Sheeran?
That's the joke I make. That's what I called it when I first heard it. The Banshees of Ed Sheeran.
I don't know what it is other than that. Like I don't know what
okay.
That's the women who
means.
follow Ed Sheeran around screaming at him.
Okay, so it is about Ed. This is the next Patriot for me.
Yeah.
Got it.
That's what I was just about to say. I'm going to invoke the Patriot Act, which means something very different for us. It is the rule that once Alex has mistaken something about a movie, that's just how it is from now on. She's working on the entire plot of The Patriot,
Yeah,
but
I'm
only
pretty close.
picking up bits mostly from people who have not seen it. So
That's great. Like the Steven Seagal Patriot or the Mel Gibson Patriot. There were two.
was there a Steven Seagal Patriot?
Yeah,
I
because
didn't even know that.
I got faked out watching like Stars when I was a kid. Like you're 17 and you got the movie channels, and I'd be like, "Oh man, the Patriot's on," and I turn on a stupid Steven Seagal movie. It's like, dang it.
They are very, very entirely and incredibly different movies.
Oh yeah, wildly different.
Or are they? Alex will never know.
Or are they?
Okay, we could just tell Alex that Steven Seagal was in the Mel Gibson Patriot. We'll
I'm
just mush them
assuming
together.
He was one of the cowboys.
Yes, yeah, sure was.
She also thinks it took place around the Civil War.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
when
lots
the
of
Wild
patriotism.
West was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was told that it was just about patriotic dudes and cowboys are patriotic by the artificer, who would never lie to me. I'm sure of it.
Never. It's definitely not a hot dog eating contest scenario.
So is Gabriel Byrne a horse girl? I'm assuming he is.
He was, and then he wasn't because he couldn't jive with that horse.
And then he-
till he started hanging out with the old ways again, and then I think
Yeah,
he got it back.
I think that's my vision of what happens after, is that he regains his horse girl psychic ability.
Yeah. Yeah, it just took one good night of bow-legged skanking, and he was back in.
He did have that moment of like thanking the horse for like taking care of his kids, where he did seem to get the magic back.
Okay, so I did think that it was the mom at first, but I don't think it was the mom. I think it was sent by the mom.
Yeah.
This is my take on it now.
Okay.
Yeah. Because in Irish folklore, there's all the wisps and all that, stuff. Mom probably had some sort of spirit link to the white horse.
Yeah.
But
that makes sense.
Why was her hand so water wrinkled every
A
time
dude.
she reached down?
Yeah. They'd been shooting that scene for hours.
Hours.
I can't even imagine, because I don't feel like nowadays they would have that scene in a movie. This child is underwater. For real. Like,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
what?
Yeah.
The
He was
insurance
drowned.
on that.
Yeah. No, they were
Yeah,
just
maybe
like,
it
"Don't
wasn't
worry."
fake CPR after all. Maybe it was Gabriel Byrne
Yeah.
really.
It's like, oh, we're going to get in so much trouble if you don't come back to life.
God,
a bunch of first
I'm
aid
sorry,
guys.
It was so bad. Like, it wasn't even like, if he was like slamming him on the ground, I'd be like, okay, he's at least dislodging the water. He just grabbed the front of his jacket and just shook him midair. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, like
His
he's
head's
mixing
just,
a
like,
cocktail or
rattling.
something. Props to that kid, though. Like, he kept his little eyes closed and...
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what Irish child labor laws are, but he had to do that
apparently
work.
non-existent.
Yeah. Well,
I'll
he's
tell you one thing
unconscious.
they didn't. Yeah, he's unconscious, so it's fine. We don't need to worry about labor laws. He's not working right now. I want to take bets on how many lines of Danny Boy that kid knew, because I'm pretty sure I only heard one
Yeah.
over and over.
Okay, well, as it turns out, I know zero, so I got faked out pretty good by it.
What? I thought that
I
it
thought
was
he was
like
singing that
law
whole song.
That it's kind of like their national anthem. Like, children have to learn it before they hit kindergarten.
Well, that's why I didn't know it. He wasn't going to school.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's
Are y'all talking
fair.
about me right now? Because that's rude. I'm right here.
Oh, man.
Gonna
I
go
one
was
learn
thing
the
I did
struggling
not-
with. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, one thing I did not pick up on as a kid, but I picked up on with this rewatch, was like when he's in the police station and they're shaking him down for the information and talking about, like, do you have any ties to any national or anti-national organizations and
yeah.
stuff like that. I didn't pick up on any of, like, the IRA is written on every building that these kids walk past, and I didn't pick up on any of that. And, like, the horse's name is National Security. I was just like, oh my god.
I didn't pick up on any of it this time.
Yeah,
I didn't want to watch it
same.
again with a different set of eyes.
I did, like, there were a couple times when I was, like, really, like, I do not like Brendan Gleeson in this movie, and that was one of the times when they were just about to start pummeling Gabriel Byrne, and then the chief of police walks by. And I was like, oh, here we go. He's, of course, in on it, too. And they all, like, stand up and act right. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The guy in charge is actually a decent dude?
That was good. You know, you can't have
Yeah.
everybody be corrupt, especially in a kids
Yeah.
movie.
Right,
You know,
right.
you kids still need to trust some police. You know, when they're little and they're like, you know, they're barging in the house because mom's like, you know, I called the police, I need help. You know, they need to be, they need to know that's okay. Like,
But yeah, I really liked the movie.
I'm glad.
I thought it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Yeah, I enjoyed
was
it a
so
lot.
excited when you said this. I was like,
Yeah.
so freaking pumped.
Yeah. I remember you saying, because you remembered the name of the horse. You were like, it's Tir na Nog. And I was like, I don't know what we're talking about anymore. But, like, that was Dragon Con Day 4, so I was running on fumes anyway. But I'm like, what? What's everybody saying? What's going on?
Were those words?
She's speaking in tongues. I can hear sounds, but
Yeah, I'm so tired. What is a tear to dog?
I wish I could go back in time to that exact moment and just yell at Alex about how the old ways are dead as soon as she said it.
all right there, Tato.
I really did think that kid's name was Tato, and I had to look it up. And it was
What, now,
fine
okay.
with me.
Tito's Vodka is missing out on a marketing opportunity.
I know.
Tito's
vodka.
Tito's Tato's Vodka.
So good. Oh,
Okay.
well, I'm glad y'all enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great. Alex, it's time for you to tell us horse news.
Great. Listen, it's good news because we have a guest. It's going to start out a little dicey. We're going to shift very quickly from the dicey part. Are we all good with that? Okay, great. So you guys remember about like 5 months ago when a bunch of horses got loose from the mounted police in London and were running amok in rush hour in the city? Yeah, and the one like they were running into like cars and shit and they got all cut up. Well, after 5 months, the white one, like one of the most famous pictures, the white one covered in blood running through the street, his name is Vita. He is fully recovered and he's back in work. So he's gone back to police work. He's ready to chase some kids down with a net or something.
I really thought you were going to tell me that they just now found him. That's where I thought
in the streets of London. He was in a flat. Some kids were keeping him. No.
All right. Well, your vacation's over. Vita?
Vita. Yep,
Vita.
Vita's going back to work.
Well, that was good news.
Yeah.
It did start out
call it
dicey, but then,
vacation. I don't call convalescence vacation, Tim.
I do. When I am not at work, I am vacationing.
I'm in the hospital.
I mean-
It's a vacation.
I don't listen. I don't want to. I'm fully on Tim's side with this. When they knock me out for surgery, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Okay, Jenna, it is time for the horse quiz.
Oh, is it? Okay.
It is. Okay, so, Steven,
Yeah.
the way that this usually works, when we watch a movie, when we read a book, she gives us horses, and me and Alex fail miserably. And then when we watch a movie, she gives us media that we have to guess based on clues, and me and Alex fail miserably.
All right.
So,
Mostly me.
yeah. And generally there's a through line that's related to an actor or actress who is in the
Miles
movie.
Miles O'Brien.
Yeah. So, yeah, one of the actors in this movie will be in all of the other media. Usually.
Okay.
Unless we've got different rules this time.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would.
Well, I won't tell you. That's fine. And you can just shout out at any time if you feel like you know the answer to the title of the media. And
Don't
if
be
nobody
polite to
knows
Jenna
it,
because Tim will fuck
absolutely.
you up if you're polite to Jenna.
Okay. So just go. Just go if
Just
I know.
go.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just go if you know it.
And if you don't know it, if no one knows it, we will do what we call go to Google. And that's where everybody pulls up Google and then waits. You have to wait for me to say go. So it's kind of like a race to see who Googles fast enough. All right. So if everyone is ready for piece of media number 1,
Yes.
it is a 1994 American coming-of-age historical drama film directed by Gillian Armstrong.
Nope, I'm going to need more help than that.
Okay.
More clues.
The screenplay by Robin Swycord is based on an 1868 to 69 2-volume novel of the same title and is the 5th feature film adaptation of this classic story.
Little Women?
Yes.
What the? Oh,
Nice.
Got it. Boom. Guest shows up, walks away with the belt.
I'm just glad someone's here who could take the wheel. Honestly, this is really comforting to me now.
I might not have to go to word association at all.
Which is
Thank
my
God.
favorite thing.
I can
So
hold
this
off
is-
if we want to word associate.
Nope.
That sounds fun.
You just happened to be sitting on the knowledge that there were 5 versions of Little Women.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was it. Well, the 1800s part helps.
Oh,
And then
okay,
I was like,
okay,
5 versions?
okay.
Yeah, Little Women. They've done that
And I did-
a bunch.
I did cut out the written by Louisa May Alcott portion.
Yeah,
just
okay,
to, like,
okay.
try to make it a little harder, but that didn't work. Love it. All right.
Are we doing 3 or 5 today?
5.
Okay, so there are 5 questions.
Yep.
Yeah.
And number 2 is a 2002 American supernatural horror film directed by Steve Beck from a screenplay by Mark Hanlon and John Pogue.
2000 supernatural horror, is that what you said? 2002?
Written by the Pogues.
Okay, no, gonna need more clues
Yeah,
than that.
I got nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. It follows a marine salvage crew in the Bering Sea who discover a mysterious ocean liner that disappeared in 1962.
Ghost Ship.
Yes.
Yes!
Hell yeah.
Oh.
Ghost
Oh,
Ship.
no.
They had that scene with the wire thing, and it just horrified
I
me
always
ever
talk
since.
about that fucking scene. It haunts
Yeah.
my dreams.
Right? I see a tense cable anywhere, and I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm not playing this game with you people. It's great. It's like the lasers in Resident Evil. Like, there's just things that
Yeah.
are glued into your brain forever.
Yup.
Yeah. That cable's, like, relatable, though. I've been on a boat, and I've seen a cable, and I'm like, I don't get off.
I've been on a boat and I've seen a cable. Put it on a shirt.
You know what the other one is that sticks with you? It's the reason none of us will drive behind a log truck.
Oh, yeah.
Final Destination 2.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
No, thank you.
I make sure my water bottles stay firmly in the cup holder, and I do not travel behind log trucks.
All right. If you guys are ready for number 3.
Yep.
Yes,
All right,
I'm
it is
prepared
a
to win
night-
this game.
I think you are. This one is a 1999 supernatural horror film directed by Rupert Wainwright and distributed by MGM.
I like to think myself a Rupert Wainwright aficionado, but I'm not sure what movie this is.
It turns out I'm not a 1999 aficionado. Like,
Yeah.
dates are meaningless to me at this point. I try to, like, okay,
Yeah.
I just graduated high school. It doesn't help me at all. I don't know
No.
when a movie was made.
All right. Let's see. Its story follows an atheist hairdresser from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, who is afflicted with a certain type of wounds after
Stigmata.
acquiring... Thank you.
Oh,
That's it.
snap!
Oh, I know the through line now.
You got it.
I got it.
Stigmata.
All right, then these next 2 should be so easy, and I can't wait for you guys to fight it out.
All right.
All right, number 4 is a 1998 American action drama film written, directed, and produced by Randall Wallace in his directorial debut.
End of Days.
No.
That's a good guess, though.
Thought I had an idea.
Yeah. I had a movie loaded up, and it's not this one.
No.
What was he? Nope, I'm gonna need more clues.
Am I
This
out
film
after guessing, or
centers-
can I try again?
No, you
No,
can
yeah,
try.
you can.
No,
yeah.
keep
Oh,
going.
Okay. Okay.
This film centers on aging soldiers during the reign of King Louis XIV.
Captain America.
The Man in the Iron Mask.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Hmm.
I never saw that movie.
Yeah,
Oh,
she didn't want to say the
man.
Three Musketeers.
It's 4. There were 4 of them.
I definitely have the through line now. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. All right. This is the last one for all the marbles. Alex, you gonna get it?
No, dude. No.
All right. Number 5 is a 1981 epic medieval
crap.
fantasy film directed, co-written, and produced by John Borman.
Dragonheart.
No.
That's a good guess, though.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah. That was like 1995, I think.
Yeah, that was
It's
like a
little-
decade. That was 15 years past when Jenna said, and not even close.
1981.
Every medieval movie I know is more like 1991.
Yeah, I know.
Except
The-
for the one with, oh
The-
my god, Professor Flitwick. They just remade it. They just re-released it. Oh, God.
Willow?
Yes, thank you. See, this is the problem. Even movies I might know, there's nothing there.
I like that you went for Professor Flitwick, too. I was like, wait, what? Because I always
did
think
you-
of the Ewok. But,
That would be a good call, too.
yeah. The one Ewok
Wait.
that everyone knows.
He's more recognizable as himself when not in an Ewok costume, I feel like.
Probably
Wicket.
true. Yeah.
Wicked.
Yeah.
Wicket, the Ewok. Yeah,
W.
that's right.
Warwick.
Warwick Davis. But all that being
Okay.
said, I have no idea what movie this is.
Yeah, 1981.
This film began development as an unproduced adaptation of The Lord of the Rings.
The Never-Ending Story?
Nope.
That's not a bad guess, though.
Adaptation of The Lord of the Rings?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not Willow? Willow was in 81.
No, Willow was later. 81. Did anything come out in 81 worth watching?
I don't know. I was 1.
Medieval.
I didn't catch a bunch of movies.
I wasn't.
So
around
not
just yet.
Transformers?
Okay,
Not-
but
not Transformers.
you've seen older movies than this.
No,
Tim.
I know.
81 medieval. I'm going to be so mad.
I know. Me too. Give me another clue.
All right. This movie stars Nigel Terry, Nicole Williamson, Nicholas Clay, Sherry Lungi, Helen Mirren, Liam Neeson, Sir Patrick Stewart.
Dune?
No.
It was a good
What
guess.
else was Patrick Stewart? Yeah, that's the
I
only
know.
Patrick
What was
Stewart
he
I could think
doing
of.
before then?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, he was in like Royal Shakespeare Company, Dune, and Star Trek. And that was...
Yeah.
And then X-Men later on when he
Like,
eased up
yeah.
on his career.
I
And there was
literally
the
just...
poop emoji.
Oh, yeah. The height of his thespian career. I just listened to his autobiography, and I have no idea what this would be. It's got to be a Shakespearean jam. But I don't know what movie, what they turned
Just Hamlet.
Shakespeare.
The Lord of the Rings tale.
Clash of the Titans?
Nope.
No.
The Ice Pirates?
Nope.
King Lear.
What
no,
could have
but
started
you're
as a-
kind of getting
I'm in the
in
ballpark.
a realm.
Mm-hmm.
King Glare.
Nope.
What other... Name some Shakespeare plays.
Hold on. Let's get another clue.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can get this.
The film's soundtrack features the music of Richard Wagner, Karl Orff, along with an original score by Trevor Jones.
I feel like
That
you're just
doesn't
making
tell
up
me.
names
Yeah,
at this
that
point.
doesn't
Yeah, I don't
tell
even
me.
know.
Wagner?
Sounds like a made-up name.
Of the Munich Circus.
Yeah. Oh, that
swear to
Wagner.
God.
Excuse me.
Yeah, we
Oh.
already
We're
said
gonna have
Patrick
a
Stewart
fight.
did X-Men, Jenna.
We're gonna
Duh.
have a fight.
I'm thinking so hard.
When did Legend come out? That was after this, right? After
And he
81.
wasn't in it. That was Tom Cruise and
Yeah,
Tim
Tom
Curry
Cruise.
looking
You're right,
awesome.
you're right.
What other King movies came out in the 80s?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? I don't know.
I guarantee you there are at least 5 people listening right now who are screaming their fucking heads off.
Why does it feel like it's always Lost Ivy, too? Lost Ivy
Yeah.
is always the
proud,
one to
proud.
tell me that.
Yeah. But you know what? He deserves it. So
They didn't make Macbeth into a movie in 81, did they?
I don't know.
Well, given that you didn't say, yes, you got it, I'm going to assume that's a no.
But how could Macbeth be a Lord of the Rings?
See, that's got me hung up, too. But
Yeah.
she said King Lear
That's
was the
just how it
ballpark.
started. That's just how it started.
Oh, which means that here's your budget money, and they were like, "That's nice.
Yeah,
Let's write something else."
Yeah.
The other like frustrating thing is that whenever you try to picture like Patrick Stewart in like one of these pieces, it could just be me imagining him in Star Trek on like, some sort of simulation bridge. Yeah, so it's like it doesn't even matter. Why try?
I think that they do reference this movie in one of the simulations.
The one where he has the horse?
No.
You said
Well then,
Liam Neeson and I went to Darkman.
That's
went to
way late.
Star Wars.
I know.
Yeah, no.
Okay, are there any more clues? Can we
Yes,
get
there
this?
are. Of
'Cause
course, there are more clues.
Okay,
Oh,
let's have more
good,
clues.
yeah.
I really don't want to
I
Google this
didn't.
because
I really thought that this was going to be the one that needed the fewest clues. Honestly,
Wow.
in the Dark Ages, a sorcerer retrieves a magical weapon from an ethereal being for a king.
King Arthur.
King Arthur?
It's not called that.
Merlin?
Monty Python.
Merlin's a good guess. The Knights of the Round Table.
Nope, but it is about that.
I'm sure it is.
I can't think of his name.
Lancelot.
That's his name.
Yes, it is. First Knight. That was later, too.
Oh my god. What's the name of the sword?
Excalibur.
Yes.
Is
It
that
is
it?
No.
Excalibur.
How on
Oh,
earth?
man.
We were
One
so
of my favorite
close.
movies
I know,
of
this was
all
gonna-
time.
This was going to be the best quiz of all time,
Yeah.
and I feel like
No.
we screwed it right at the end.
You know what
Yeah.
pisses me the fuck off is that if I had have approached this more X-Men, leaned harder into Kurt Wagner, I could have gotten to Excalibur through the back channel of X-Men.
That's why I was like, yes, yeah, no, okay, never mind.
Because I was doing it as a goof, Jenna.
You weren't serious and you were almost there. Like, come on.
Damn it.
That was
that was
fun.
that was still the best quiz we've ever had. I think
That was great. I haven't
That
thought of
was
Ghost
zero.
Ship in years.
0 Googles.
Yeah.
He's gonna look at cables for the next
Oh,
week
yeah.
and just
Every time I see one, I'm going to pull on it and be like, how many pounds strength test is this cable? Better be enough.
So, an embarrassing fact. The fact isn't embarrassing that I adore cheese like that. I love cheese. That's not embarrassing. But what is embarrassing is I keep wanting to get one of those like cheese slicing things, and I'm like, Ghost Ship.
Yes.
I've seen Ghost Ship.
Gosh. Ruined so much. Why did we watch that movie?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go watch it again though.
now
I'm gonna
I'm
be
thinking.
old.
I'm thinking about great movie scenes and Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, yeah.
Deep Blue Sea is right up there too now. Yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah.
I'm just thinking about sitting around pointing at cables, telling my son when I'm old, like, have you ever seen a man get chopped in half by one of them? I have. Because somehow my entire countenance is going to change as I get older, so I sound like a grizzled old man. Hey, boy, let me tell you about the one time I watched Ghost Ship.
The old ways are dead.
The old ways is dead. That's why you use rope.
All right, Steven. Well, thanks for hanging out with us and bringing us a really fun movie,
I've had
doing an
amazing
awesome
time.
quiz.
Yeah.
Where can people find your stuff?
People can go to your favorite podcatcher podcast app, type in "Those Were the Days," and you'll find a show about that we talk about old TV, old television shows, anything 20 years and older. So we're heading into we're doing 80s cartoons right now. So we'll be doing. I mean, by the time your listeners listen, we'll be doing something completely different. But I hope that you tune in and join us Monday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/2dorkstv. And you can also look for horseshoes and hand grenades, as we're still doing shows when we can do them. My wonderful co-host has a small family of children, and it makes it a little bit more difficult, but we're trying to put a show out as often as we can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.
I've had a blast. Thank you for having me.
Oh, crap. I'm Segway stuck.
Ah, beans.
I know.
It's really upsetting because they were just talking about steel cables and different metals and how you shouldn't have metal.
Hey, since we're talking about cables and metal, you know what else is metal, right, Alex?
What, Tim? What else is metal?
You know what's metal. Don't make fun of me. You're mocking me.
I need you to walk me a little further down this
I
pathway.
can't walk near the metal cables.
Well, I've never seen the movie, so I have no fear. I'll talk about Moose Jaw McGraw, Big Thick Martingale, and Beta Ray Philly, which are our metal horses in the barn. But you know what? We share this barn with other people's metal horses, like Ha Lava Spaghettios, which is Nate's horse, and Iron Meriden, which is Philip D. Keating's horse. That's Stevie Lake's boyfriend, for everybody who doesn't know that. Dale Donis III from Anonymous Steve, who I've never doxed and I never will. Dimebag from Matt Ellman, who I feel like I've doxed multiple times, but here we are. Marital Combat from Metastrophe, who gets... I don't know why your name was only half metal that time. I'm sorry. That was... you know what? File a complaint, I guess, in the box. I'm just going to dump it out. Glue Factory from Bean, who got a metal name for no apparent reason. Pony Hawk from Olivia, who I adore. The fucking second L from Lost Dimey, my mortal fucking enemy. I'll take him down one day, guys. Every day I get closer to taking him down. And Ronnie from Scott.
Outro.
This is gonna be it, huh? It's gonna be outro, just whispered outro,
Yeah.
henceforth.
Yeah, that's the segue now. It's just outro.
All right, I'm on it. And this brings our podcast to an end, similarly to the way that Tir na Nog tried to end a child by running into the waves. Thank you for listening to Horse Girls. If you want to know when our new episodes are posted or share your observations of this positively academic podcast, follow us on Facebook at Horse Girls Podcast, Twitter and Instagram at Horse Girls Cast. And if you want to buy some radical shirts and things, visit duckduckjenna.com, America's most beloved search engine, to search for one thing, our merch. Want to take our relationship to the next level? Get one of those metal horses? Come join our barn? You can do that at horsegirls.club or patreon.com/horsegirls, where we have a veritable plethora of things to offer you, like content, but most importantly, horses in the barn. You can also go to singlethoughtconnection.com, THOT. If you want to find us on other podcasts, you can. We do them. If you like TTRPGs, check out Dungeons and Drakenbeams, Late Starters, and Dragon Knight Adventure Friends. Knight with an N, not a K. If you're going the Excalibur route, just stop, turn around, go a different way. That's not the one. Anyways, we also do Animorph stuff. Check out Animorphs Anonymous. Surprise, we also do Surprise Stack Book Club, which is in this very feed and also all of the other ones. If you're betwitched by Jenna, check out Jenna's Twitch at twitch.tv/JennaChill with one singular L. And if you lost me it, I swear I will find you. I will send a horse to your house. He will kick through your walls. He will not ride your elevator nicely. And you know what? He won't go with the cops either. So he's your fucking problem now. Good luck, assholes. If you, like me, can't get enough of Tim's beautiful voice, he's voice acted on such podcasts as The Way We Hunt Now. And if you think our episode art is hella cute, it is. And it was created by KCD, who writes and illustrates a webcomic called B-Side You, which you can read for free at bsideyoucomic.com. May the nuts ever stick to your roof.